Hello, everyone. Welcome to, what is it, the 7th community call already? We've been working on Paladin for almost a year full time and quite over a year since the idea sprang. So we're pretty happy that this month we're actually going to start having a transferable token. I think it's going to change a lot the nature of what's been happening. We have seen that we've more or less hit a limit in the terms of what we could do without a transferable token. So we're pretty eager to see what's happening. So the goal of this community call is going to be centered around talking about the LBP. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them at the end. Like, we're very open about what we're building and what's next for Paladin. There's quite a lot of cool things we want to show you, and even more that are going to come to come afterwards. Okay, so first of all, LBP is in 11 days. It's going to be a super big milestone for the product, in the sense that depending on how well the LBP does, it's going to define the rate of how well we could do just afterwards. Why? First of all, every single thing in the LBP is not done by the core team, it's done by the DAO. And all of the funds will be used for us to create protocol-owned liquidity. So the higher the token is valued, the more POL we have, the more LP tokens we own in terms of value, and the more we can basically farm. So the higher the token value, the more revenue we're going to create just with this. That's the first thing. The second thing, it means we'll be able to spend less tokens to attract more people on our different pools and our integrations. And I think that's important. The third thing is that the more interesting the price action, if it's not just a LBP and dump, the less we incentivize people to dump. If you've seen the latest LBPs, the latest protocol release, we've seen a lot of tokens that basically release and dump directly because the market is complicated. We, as we will show you just afterwards, we've created all of the measures possible to avoid this. We really want to create the healthiest thing possible. So, as you might see, there is not only our logo, there's another logo. For those who don't know, we're working with Prime DAO, and we wanted to take the time to show you guys the major steps we've taken to make sure this LBP would be a success. I might have forgotten one in the slides, but before that, I want to show you, as I mentioned before, why this LBP is important. It's not just for money. It is not a paycheck for the core team. We will not access the money that is done. It is not made for exit liquidity, because these are not our tokens, these are the DAO's token. It is not for short-term financing for the DAO. It is purely create protocol-owned liquidity and create long-term revenue opportunities for the DAO. So this LBP is extremely important, as I mentioned, because it's going to enable us to profit from speculation. Paladin is not about speculation, and we will never be able to avoid it. So instead of trying to deny it, let's just create a way for us to harness as much as possible the speculation and profit from it. By controlling the liquidity with the POL, this will allow us to create sustainable revenue that we will later be able to redirect to the chest and eventually to other things. For example, paying our contributors once this becomes more sustainable. So instead of just paying them in PAL, we can pay them with other tokens, which becomes very interesting. And the third thing that's very important is that 75% of that liquidity will be moved to Curve, and that means that we will be able to farm with Warden with it. And as you'll see, with something else too. So that's why we're doing the LBP in general. And the last part is that it's the first possible price discovery mechanism we can introduce. This is extremely important because we, as core team, or any of us as DAO members, have no legitimacy in suddenly saying Paladin is worth this much. A Dutch auction will allow us to see how the market values the protocol. And that's probably the first way to do it. So, what is that? I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Nice. It's back. Apologies. So what have we done to make sure this LBP is going to happen correct? First of all, we partnered with Prime. Prime DAO has created some kind of launchpad that is very synergetic, and they have done a few LBPs already. They've done Vestas on Arbitrum, and they've done their own. So we wanted to work with them because of their experience, because of the way they work, they have supported us a lot with some decisions we could have taken in, for example, the balances we should use, in showing us who we should talk to, how we should try to communicate on all of this. They've been really helpful partners. And what you guys have to understand is that their services are free for now. So we think it would be appropriate to create a tip at the end of the LBP to thank them. Literally because they have done a job that takes time. They have customized the platform for us, and we believe that we should pay them for the work, and we should align with them because we have similar missions. So there is a world where we can work out a lot of things together, and it might be interesting to have them in our DAO. That's the first thing we did. The second thing we did is that we contracted with Creator DAO. So some of you might know Fugu, who is not in Discord, but who has been in the community for a long time. He created a DAO that aligns a lot of different contributors. And what you can do is that you can basically hire them to create content for you. So the idea is that starting this Monday, so the 14th, you will see a lot of different content creators starting to talk about Paladin. That's because we have hired a creator DAO. This is a public knowledge, and it will help us get the message around more before the last week of the LBP. The third thing we've done is that in order to do an LBP, you need to have a two-sided liquidity. So PAL, and we've decided to do it in ETH because it was more interesting considering the market. One of the core team's company, to be totally transparent, my company, will provide a $300,000 loan in ETH to the DAO, 0% interest rate, and the idea is to bootstrap it for the LBP. The DAO will have 12 months to repay it when it is appropriate, but the idea is that we can provide the financing for this to happen. And the last thing we did is that we've tried to do more podcasts, more Twitter spaces. So you might hear a bit more from us, especially from me, because I like talking. But that's what we've been trying to do with ZBLBP. If you have other ideas, we're very eager to hear them. Okay, Koga will take it ahead for what's been happening on Paladin.
Hey everyone, welcome to the community call. So yeah, what's the state of Paladin? What's going on? So the pool, some of them are growing like steadily. Mainly the stake one, our flagship. Let's call it that way. So we get closer and closer to the proposal threshold. It keeps growing, keeps becoming interesting. We saw a real loan that was used for the Jarvis people to try and list their assets on AVV3, which was really cool to see finally Paladin used in the way we imagined it in from the start. So that was really exciting and brought for something like 2 weeks a really nice APY on the pool with all of you guys trying to ape in to get those nice almost 20% up until some big whale got in and diluted a bit the APY, but that's really cool, and we hope to keep keep with that tendency and keep with that dynamic and see that happening more and more in the future, of course, and maybe on other pools that can start to also accrue some more voting power. Next slide. I don't know if that's mine or not. Oh, let's keep
you want to go with it?
No, go on.
Okay, so as you've seen, we've had quite interesting growth on the POAP pool. Like the pool grows between 5 and 20% per week, which is crazy. We're extremely happy about this. Unfortunately, I think 2 days before the community call, the big whale we had in the pool left because they needed to vote with their token. In theory, they'll be back. I guess we'll see. But the market is a bit complicated. I think it's a testament to what we're building, especially with the POAP pool, that people keep depositing, even thought we're in a time where everyone is scared of being liquidated and no one is buying assets anymore. So the TVL is kind of irrelevant when you see the price of Aave compared to what it used to be at the top. Maybe I think it's 1/6 of what it used to be. And we're very happy because what we focus on is being close to the threshold. The threshold is at 80,000 Aave. At the top this month, we had almost 50,000 stake Aave. So we almost had 60% of the proposal threshold. Right now, we're just shy of 30%. So we're slowly growing, slowly getting there. And that's when we're going to be able to have really good revenue opportunity for everyone inside of the pool. And I do think that OnSpal has a price. after transferability, the liquidity mining is suddenly going to become calculatable, relatable, and once people see that they've been farming at between 150 and 600%, suddenly there's going to be a much wider interest in the actual pool. So why has that pool been a success? We've been trying to become the biggest wrapper for POAPs, and we've been trying to do this by creating integrations around it. So we've created a curve pool for Aave palStkAave, which is slowly picking up. It tripled in size this month. We opened a garden on Babylon, which is enabling people to directly deposit Aave and be exposed to the whole strategy. And we transferred part of our liquidity mining on Curve, which is really cool. Now, the question is, what more can we do? We're exploring options to lend out your POAPs, so through lending protocols. Know that you can already do that if you are based in the garden on Babylon. You can actually loan out your position. We would like to find out more integrations. They're not that obvious for us. So if you have any questions, please feel free. If you have any ideas, feel free to suggest them. That's how we'll succeed together. Okay.
Also our pool actually right now, and on the curve pool, we have some liquidity mining. So over time, we're trying to adjust, and we want to propose the new adjustment for the coming month, and to also prepare with what's going on with the LBP and the price discovery. So the current proposition, and that will be also posted later on the forum, so we can discuss it, and then enable in an optimistic way, so changement made, except if there's a huge movement against it. But seeing how the pools and the TVL of the pool actually reacted, we want to reduce the rewards on the uni pool back to 10k a month. Yes, as it says on, we have a better setup or a better way to incentivize that pool and have better engagement in the Uniswap community. As the idle, Aave, and compound pool do not move in terms of TVL or activity, liquidity mining on those pool might not be relevant right now. So we want to remove it for the moment, and increase the allocation to the curve pool. So double the amount that is put like every month. So actually every week, because of how curve works. Still in with the objective to have the best wrapper around the POAPs, and so incentivizing that pool might bring more liquidity in that pool and allow to have like volume and trading that is significant, and give them power reward on top, of course. And in the next weeks or something like that, we will also present to the community the liquidity mining for the Warden smart contract. So it will be in two parts. There will be one for buying boosts, so like a way to make a Warden boost more efficient compared to other options to farm on Curve. And we are also still considering some form of gas payback or airdrop for the depositors, of not the deposit but the registers in Warden. So everybody that registered and put up an offer, like will be eligible to an airdrop. But this is still in design, let's say, and we are still trying to find the best way to do all of that, and to have something that the best for all of our users, and that will also help to bootstrap a Warden even further and have something more efficient for the rest of the protocol.
Yeah. So something to add quickly about liquidity mining, and that's something it's going to be a mindset that we have to change. The circulating supply of Paladin was and still is very small, right? It's 2% right now. It's going to be 4 after the LBP. We will keep distributing quite heavily, but we have to be careful about how much we distribute, simply because there is a low circulating supply. If we distribute, for example, 20% of the actual circulating supply every month, well, we're actually going to create a scenario when people can dump and totally destroy the price action. So we're still trying to equilibrate all of this. This might go through Olympus Pro program to acquire the PAL and deepen the liquidity of the DAO. But these are very important questions. And after the token starts being transferable, we have to start thinking that people can now dump the token. which they couldn't do before. Okay.
So still, yeah, on the subject, as we said, like circulating supply is around 2%. It's actually 1.275 million per currently circulating. There are some that are also accrued but not claimed, so we can consider that a little bit more. There's a lot of users that did not claim yet their liquidity mining, but that can become circulating pretty fast. Out of those, we have 2/3 that are delegated, either self-delegated to vote by themselves or delegated to one of our awesome delegates in this community. So that's really cool. We see a lot of participation in governance votes, like the one for the LBP committee, the last one on the constitution. That was really cool. Yeah, as always, a little reminder that if you do not delegate or self-delegate the Paladin token, well, votes are not accounted even on snapshots. This way is done because we don't want to have like too much gas price when doing transfer on the token on chain, and still have the option to move some votes or some actions on chain and have like the voting power counted correctly outside of snapshots. As a preview for the future tokenomics, so the HPAL that we presented in the forum, we'll have that a similar type of voting system where you have to delegate to someone or self-delegate to yourself to get your vote counted. Otherwise, they will not be counted. So for traders or for smart contracts, for example, a curve pool or whatever, it will cost less to do like trades or to do transfers.
Yeah, so we've had a very big push on delegation and governance in general, guys. It's super important because if we keep having a standard when we have between 40 and 70% of the supply who's voting, we're going to be in a very different league from other projects. We don't need everyone to vote. We just need to give power to the delegates, and I see a few of them in the conversation right now. It makes the world of a difference to run a product and to run a project, guys. Is that me? Oh, wait. So, about Warden.
Yeah.
We haven't been very. You want to go ahead?
Oh, I don't know. That was my name, right? Whatever. Like, it's just a quick state of how it's going on, the same way as Paladin. Just a quick recap of the infos. We don't have a Dune dashboard for that one yet. There's a bounty for that. You can see in the bounty channel. Alejandro will talk about that later on in the slides. But we are still close to the 5 million VCRV managed by the contract. Out of those, currently like almost 3.5 million VCRV are available for boost. We also crossed the 100 of different offers, so more than 100 VCRV holder registered on Warden, which is really cool. The price range is slowly going on. Oh, there's an it's not min, max, and average. So first one is the maximum, average, then minimum. We messed up that part. We see more and more boosts that are around the advised optimal price, which is really cool because that means those boosts can become an event. We also saw some purchases in the last months. So like 6V boosts are purchased through Warden right now. So that's 3,000 CRV fees generated by the contract. And with the future liquidity mining that we're imagining and all the other thing we want to build around Warden, we'll just see those numbers go up hopefully.
Yeah. So we haven't talked much about Warden this month, to be honest, guys. That's because we're revamping the whole interface, and there's quite a few things we wanted to show you. So we actually have an announcement. There's something we want to show you. You can think of it as a new dApp. You can also think of it as an integral part of Warden. So it's called Quest or Warden Quest, depending on how you want to think about it. Warden has been doing quite well. We attracted, as we mentioned, almost 5 million VCRV. We have struggled to push more boost, but we know what we need to do for this to happen. The thing is, we don't want Warden to just be a boosting marketplace. We want Warden to become a full stack platform for VCRV yield. So we started with boosting power. Now we're going to give gauge access. For references, everything that's happening around the curve wars, what's called bribes, is lending gauge access. So we're also going to start to offer a solution for people to buy their way into the gauge for curve. This is not bribes, as you guys would see. It's a very different solution. We're not going to showcase everything because we're not ready. The code is ready. We're going to do an audit on it because we're aware of how much it could be used. So please bear with us. You have to understand, and that's why we put them in bold. These are not bribes. This is a much more sustainable solution to access the gauge for protocols. So if you think there are protocols who would be interested in a different solution than what's currently done for the curve gauge access, please contact us. We will work with them. We have a few protocols we're talking to who are all very excited about doing this. And I think it's going to be very interesting that there's going to be innovation on the gauge access because there's a few protocols, they're all doing the same thing. We don't want to do that. We want to do something new. We want to do something that's much more powerful and something that's much more sustainable and that creates positive feedback loops for the protocol and for the users. So yeah, that's the big thing, guys. Expect more from us, like for the next community call, I would say. We're working very hard on making the interface really cool. And what's really important to understand is that this is Warden. So in the same platform, you will have your boosts and the quests, which means that it's much more easier for us to access to people because we're going to offer yields that are not just the gauge. It's going to be the gauges plus if you want the boost. So it's more potential revenue, easier to access, and a much longer term. We're super excited about that, guys. It's a really cool product. So yeah. Now onto tokenomics. Valentin, you want to do it?
Yeah, and you guys can't imagine like how long I've been sending him to talk about Quest in community calls or to you guys in the Discord. He's been really happy today to be able to chat with you about it. So yeah, tokenomics is also like the huge subject of the month. So we have the LBP, and in the same time, like maybe before during the LBP, we'll make the formal proposal on the forum for the deployment of the tokenomics, and then move it to snapshot, of course, if everyone agrees the same method we always do. So this will just be the first phase, so including the holy PAL, so that we call HPAL. So you'll be able to stake your PAL to get some HPAL that will be minted 1-to-1. You'll be able to lock them from 3 months to 2 years with so you have inflation. So basically you can get a base APY when you stake PAL that you can claim and that you can then restack and on and on. And the longer you lock, the more that APY is multiplied. And for any users that lock for more than a year, you get a little bonus of voting power on the balance that you locked. So this will also means that we will be able in the next steps to build around HPAL, to build new modules around those tokenomics. So this is just the first phase. We discussed about chest, which is in the next phase. In the meantime, we are also considering not considering. We want to have a Paladin pool for our HPAL. So have our own tokenomics inside Paladin, once again, the full loop, where that pool would be similar to the stake one, where it will be able to claim any rewards you get from the HPAL and restake them for you. So this is right now in the development, in the last steps of development, and we will give you some more date and then the front post once we are done with all the tests and the reviews that we want to do to make sure everything works as perfectly as we want to.
Yep. So that's, I would say, not on a more serious note. I think that's important. Paladin has been growing. Like we're happy we've started as a core team, as a small team. We're 3 people. Now we're 9. We have bigger needs in business development, in marketing, in DAO ops, and considering the budget with what we raised, than the allocation we got, the way we've been working, we have two choices right now as a core team. Either we raise again, I don't know, we raise $3, $5, $10 million, and we hire 30 people to do all of this and to do it efficiently. Or we decentralize and create working groups. It's two different things. We know it's possible to actually create a viable protocol with working groups. IndexCop has done it. Olympus DAO has done it. We probably can do it, and we want to try to. So as a core team, we want to focus on what we have been doing well, which is building the products, R&D, tuning the products, making them sustainable, and helping coordinate the ecosystem. But if we really want to create a sustainable DAO, we're going to need to make the DAO non-dependent on the core team. And this is why we're going to start opening just after the LBP discussions about creating 3 working groups, which were going to be about business development, treasury management, and what we call the creative guild, which is more going to be around marketing. The idea is that in the next 9 to 18 months, we have to make the protocol viable in the sense that we will be able to have working groups that will not even be paid in PAL. That will be the beginning, but they will have the optionality to pay in other tokens, and that we will have people who are working and pushing the DAO forward and making it sustainable. If we actually succeed in doing that, this means that us as a core team can focus on creating the best products possible. And today, what you're seeing is that you have a lot of projects like Uniswap, like Aave, who are becoming quite big. They're 30, 40, 50, 80, 120 people, depending on how much they want to scale. And the idea is that they're a company. And they will slowly disalign from what a DAO should be, simply because they're not a DAO. They can't. They have financial interests. They're going to need to do different things. So what we're really going to try to do is how do we empower you guys to manage the ops, the operational part of the DAO. And that's going to be a very big challenge, and we're all going to have to put our hands up. But that also means that you'll be able to probably start earning your life by participating with Paladin. And we're extremely excited about onboarding people. This will probably not be full-time position, especially at the beginning, but this will probably be the beginning of people who have been looking forward to getting on board into crypto and to DAO full-time. So yeah, we're super happy about that. Alejandro?
Yes, all right. Thank you, Fige. So very excited to finally, as some of you know, about now 23, 24 people know that we are assigned or working or looking at bounties. We actually partner with DWork, a fantastic platform that has a Trello-like system to basically assign bounties to people and make payments. So right now we have tech bounties. We definitely have a lot. So more so right now, non-tech bounties. But in the spirit of decentralization, there's also a community suggestions column, which I love because it allows you to basically make suggestions for these bounties. And essentially, at this point, the mostly me will be deciding, of course, between the other contributors and myself, whether or not you can vote on it, whether or not you want to move the bounties forward or not. Obviously, we're looking to decentralize that process moving forward, but it's a starting step. The bounties are also going to be paid out on a weekly basis, and you can check the bounties channel on the server for more info. As Figo was saying, we are in alignment with the bounties. We are looking towards the working groups. We already have, for example, a few people in mind that we would like to head these working groups. Obviously, that's going to be decided by the DAO. But of course, this is just another layer that we have now with the bounties to allow you to earn PAL through contributions and to continue the decentralization process. And of course, here we have POAPs. If you attend this call up until this point, right before the AMA section starts, you will receive a POAP directly from me. Been a good showing so far. So keep your eyes on chat. Please open your DMs, and you'll have until March 14th, this coming Monday, to claim one. After that, the link will expire. So please make sure to mint them before. Minting is free. And with that is the AMA section. So we will answer the questions as received in the community AMA channel, which is right above the Agora. I definitely see we have quite a few. First question that was actually brought up by Citizen42. I kind of know the answer, but Figa definitely has more background on it. Why did Paladin choose D2D Prime for launch opposed to other LBT solutions?
Yep. So we've actually looked at all of the different LBP solutions. We're looking, and we have always tried to work in the most, I would say, three way possible, which is how do we align the most with the actors we wanted. Doing an LBP is complicated. It is especially complicated in the current, I would argue, bear market. When you look at gas, there is a very big case for this. It is even more complicated when there's a war in our continent. I'm based in Europe, guys, and I'm lucky to be far away from Ukraine, but still, there are still some questions to be made. And yeah, so we wanted to work with someone who had experience with LBP, who could support us. The fact that they have a high quality platform, that they're very transparent about the way they work, that even when they did mistakes, they were very transparent about them, how supportive they've been. Even the fact that simply they do not have pay for their service. So if it goes wrong, it doesn't matter. It was a very small cost for us in theory. So that's why we actually want to work with them. The second reason why we want to work with them is that PrimeDAO is actually creating a deal-making machine. And what you have to understand is that a part of their system right now is about fundraising, it's about creating liquidity. And what's really interesting is that they don't have something with governance. So we can probably work with them quite synergetically by becoming some kind of governance arm where we can help them provide influence. PrimeDAO is essentially going to become an investment bank, and there's nothing as a cost for us to. Wait, do you mean? Yeah, they charge no fee, man. The service is free. So we intend to tip them to align them with us and to thank them, but yeah, the service is free. We will just create a vote explaining what they did and why we think they should be paid for it. But yeah.
All right. The following question is also by Citizen42. Yeah, that's actually a good question. What stage are we at with the Aave Oasis pool on battle?
Oh, so Babylon Garden is actually already live. I'm not sure if you've seen our thread. We published a thread, I think it was on Tuesday, so 2 days ago, outlining why it was done. And there was a link. You can actually click on the link and go there. You can also go on Babylon Finance. You will see something called the Aave Oasis. That is our garden. It's already live. You can go there. If you have any question, we have a shared channel also with the Babylon team where we can answer the questions. And we're doing a Twitter space with them tomorrow if you guys want more details. That's by the way, William X, one of our delegate, shared something about paying people to vote on snapshot proposal. To be perfectly frank, I'm not for paying people to vote. I think it sets bad precedents. I do think it's better to have a well-oiled organic system because it's more interesting. But I guess we'll see if it's important. How we can do this.
Yeah, what we fear with blindly paying any voter is the fact that some people will just try to vote on anything they see without having like critical thinking about a proposal or anything. So we want to encourage anyone that wants to be active in our governance to participate in the discussions and explain their vote if they want to and if they do not, because a lot of people don't have the time or the resources or don't want to. Well, that's why we push so far forward the whole delegate system. We really want those people to be representative and to help all of those users to have their voice heard.
The question from good old Fig. Besides Endless Coop and Olympus, what other DAOs you look for model efficient working groups? Koga, I know you already answered Yearn, which is on another layer, but yeah, those are the two obvious ones. What are there any other ones that you guys have that we've come across that you think that would have efficient working groups at this point?
I think there aren't that many, to be honest. Just three big ones: Olympus, Index, and Yearn. What's interesting is that they all have very different approach. It's very interesting. Curve has a very interesting approach with their, most notably with their risk management group, but they only have one group. So yeah, there aren't that many. I wouldn't argue which it's already really good for us to have examples, so we know what works right now.
I'll answer the next question by Miyaki. So yeah, how do you choose the amount of PAL for bounties? The roll of dice answer was funny. No, as Figen mentioned before, and it's obvious. We of course are just estimating. We don't have an idea until price discovery occurs. Once there is, of course, a a price after that happens, that we have a better idea of how much bounties are worth. But right now I've been just going through and estimating, and we've been talking about prices internally within the team, like ever since Denver and prior to. So, yeah, that's basically the short answer.
And the even shorter answer is that we're more or less paying what we think would be correct / a bit under the market at seed price, at the price of the seed round, which is very low. So the current bounties might be extremely lucrative compared to price. Maybe they won't. We have no idea what's going to happen with price action. But the only thing we know is that yeah, they're gonna lower afterwards for sure. About the balancer fees, I am not sure they still charge them. I have to look at it. But we will check. Okay, also a quick question regarding the rewards for AP Wine. Yeah, so we're still waiting for AP Wine to implement them. This will be done probably by a public announcement, and we'll let you guys know as soon as they are ready. We're not going to backdate per se. What we did is that we voted for an initial liquidity mining budget, and we've been shortening it by removing some options or giving less tokens in the different pools. And what we're going to do is that it's going to allow us to have a longer liquidity mining campaign. So we're just going to keep reallocating. I would say the medium-term goal of especially around the stake pool, is to keep building integrations and to push the liquidity mining into these different integrations. So we're going probably to lower the staking contract and put more rewards, as we mentioned previously in the slides, into the curve pool, maybe into AP Wine, and different things that can be interesting. Oh yeah, and Threshold DAO has a very interesting approach to guilds, to what I've read. That's so very true. When will you know more about Warden Quest? So don't talk too much about it, guys. We are doing this in a private community call, in the sense that, I mean, it's going to be a video, right? But refrain for writing threads or things like that. We will probably write an article during the LBP or just a bit after to explain a bit more in details what we're going to do. To be fully transparent, we're having an audit at the end of the month. We have to wait for the audit to be back to release it for you guys. Because imagine if there's only, let's say, $1 million of money that's deposited into the Quest contract, we have to be diligent. It's not like the first version of Warden where there was almost no funds at risk. This is a very different story. So we want to make this correctly. But trust me, it's cool. Actually, don't trust me. But yeah, and probably we'll be able to showcase something much more descriptive during the next community call early April. So yeah, any other question, guys, or any things you want to get out of the way? We really want to be transparent about the LBP and what's happening. It's going to be a very interesting thing. Like, I really want us. I like the challenge, and I do think we can really totally defy the market. We have a strong value proposition. If you look at most LBPs, they were done without a token, a protocol that was released, without the traction we actually have, without the roadmap we actually have. So there's a case for us to do something very impressive. So yeah, let's keep pushing it. Like on the social medias, it's going to be exceptionally important to keep being everywhere, to remind the people around us how cool Paladin is. Like, a lot of people have been frustrated because they didn't get enough or as much as they wanted PAL tokens. So yeah, that's the opportunity.
Question that Miyaki just asked, when you see the different working groups. Yeah, exactly what Koga just responded. Early April, around that time. Like, we just wanted to make the announcement today. I've been going to make some little things on Discourse so the conversation can start, but we're not going to dive into that 100% until early mid next month. But it is coming. One Pally merch shop. Well, each of the core team members has some merch swag from Denver. So hey, we're decentralized even with our merch right now. So depending on what part of the world you're in, I'm in Miami. So
I see the AP Wine guys. They've done a splendid job with their merch. To be honest, we were thinking we're probably gonna do a contributor party at FCC. Nothing promised, but if we do, instead of sending merch to everyone, we might have to give to everyone over there. So it would be cool to have a private party for contributors. We know there's a lot of you who are in FCC, and there's quite a lot of French base, so it would be easier for us. So we're still thinking about it. We will find a way for other contributors too, of course. But I think that's where we could start. Right now, we've been experimenting with swag. So we gave some at IF Denver. We are trying a few things internally. And when we have the most beautiful ones, that's when we can share them with you guys.
Alrighty, everyone. Any other questions? Everything just got flooded with the merch swag questions. I love it. If there's nothing else, we will be wrapping up the call. I think this is one of the most important community calls. I mean, they're all important, but definitely probably the most one that we had to date because of price discovery and the LBP. But yeah, we're really excited and we've been working our asses off, as you all know. If nothing else, we will close the call. I do see Citizen42 typing. Crypto Copco. Both of them writing essays. All right. Oh, okay. Just a comment. Crypto Copco, you got a question?
Yeah, so as I mentioned on Twitter, guys, March 1st is more about building. Like we're making smaller announcements here and there. But we're gonna have at the end of the month, we're gonna have the token that is transferable, the first part of the tokenomics that are gonna fall. Then we're gonna have quests. So there's quite a lot of things that are gonna start happening. And what's super cool is that all of this is synergetic with everything we've built up until now.
Ooh.
That is very, very important. Thank you for bringing it up. So what we're going to do is that with the LBP, we're going to raise a certain amount of ETH, and we're going to end with a 50-50 ETH PAL per. We're going to move that per to Curve, and once it's on Curve, we've been working with the risk management DAO, the risk assessment DAO, to have a risk assessment on PAL and to create a proposal to create a curve gauge. Once we have that curve gauge, we're going to use Quest, which should be out more or less at that point, to literally buy the fuck out of the gauges. Like we're going to buy a big piece and we're going to farm as LPs and boost ourselves with Warden. So the idea is that we're going to use Warden and Quest to become very profitable on Curve. That's the basic the basic idea. And I think it's going to be pretty interesting. So yeah, that's the plan, guys. Thank you for showing up. Feel free to keep asking questions on the Discord. Feel free to interact with us on Twitter as always. We need all of your support. Like it's going to become the next 10 days are going to become pivotal. And if you own any PAL token, it's literally in your best interest to if you believe in the protocol, to push it because we can do some pretty crazy things. So yeah, guys, thank you. Have a nice day and see you soon.